Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here in this video. My name is Eva. Today I am going to be sharing a little bit from the Course in Miracles. I put out a community post last week and I've been going through everyone's answers, and my dear friend Julie, my dear community member, thank you so much Julie for your response, had asked. I had put out a couple videos throughout the years from A Course in Miracles, and I think that's what you were requesting when you wrote in about the book. So I'm going to be sharing from chapter 14, Teaching for Truth. We're just going to do two sections, but I do want to preface by saying, if you aren't familiar with A Course in Miracles, it does use the language of the Trinity. It is written from Christ, and it uses the Son of God, but the point of this text is unity consciousness, and it uses He and the Holy Spirit as a He and God as He. But I think it's important just to take a note that when communication from unity is given into the realm of duality, it needs to use the symbols that we understand. This book was relayed in the 70s. It was relayed from within a perspective which the person who was transcribing it and the readers of the book at the time would have accepted. So it's not saying that God is a man. It's not saying that the Son of God is a person, or that gender is at all relevant. God is not a person. This doesn't describe God as a person. God is the eternal is. It is the eternal love. It is the eternal beingness. And it very clearly, the very large swaths of the Course train you in not being your body. So it's not about that. So I know that due to a lot of religious trauma and patriarchy and all kinds of things throughout history, there's a lot of resistance around that, and that brings up a lot of trauma. So if that's happening for you, I would just recommend using this as a time to really bring that through, because this is going to describe how we really have to bring everything out. We have to not hide anything from spirit to be transformed in our sight. And also this section reminds me a lot of, if you guys are familiar with the Gnostic Gospels, in the Gospel of Thomas, when Jesus says, if you bring forth all that is within you, all that is within you will save you. If you hide that which is within you, all that is within you will destroy you. And that's sort of the sentiment of this section, this first section, extrapolated out a bit. So we can use this as a meditation as well. I often do. Sometimes I'll just open to a random page. That's how I got to this one. And just see what wants to come by way of reminder. And it's just a really, really beautiful text, and it's been such a powerful tool for me. And when people ask, what are like step-by-step ways to really do this? I really always, if you're drawn to my work, that this will resonate with you as well. It's how I have, it's sort of the scaffolding, so you could say, that which I use for external practice, for mind training, and for sort of alchemizing perception. So just take some nice deep breaths in and out of the heart space, bringing yourself into the center of all beingness. I will read slowly because the book uses what sounds to us as like antiquated language. So just to use it as a meditation. Just some time for yourself to relax, letting the wisdom sort of speak through from within you, because it's not so much about the words themselves, but the energy of the wisdom. You could say the code that is sort of underlying, that is written beneath the words that we hear, that really assists in awakening. So the first section, sharing perception with the Holy Spirit. This is section 7 of this chapter. What do you want? Light or darkness? Knowledge or ignorance are yours, but not both. Opposites must be brought together, not kept apart. For their separation is only in your mind, and they are reconciled by union, as you are. In union, everything that is not real must disappear, for truth is union. As darkness disappears in light, so ignorance fades away when knowledge dawns. Perception is the medium by which ignorance is brought to knowledge. Yet the perception must be without deceit, for otherwise it becomes the messenger of ignorance rather than a helper in search for truth. The search for truth is but the honest searching out of everything that interferes with truth. Truth is. It can neither be lost, nor sought, nor found. It is there, wherever you are, being within you. Yet, it can be recognized or unrecognized, real or false to you. If you hide it, it becomes unreal to you because you hid it and surrounded it with fear. Under each cornerstone of fear on which you have erected your insane belief system, the truth lies hidden. Yet you cannot know this, for by hiding truth in fear, you see no reason to believe that the more you look at fear, the less you see it, and the clearer what it conceals becomes. It is not possible to convince the unknowing that they know. From their point of view, it is not true. Yet it is true because God knows it. These are clearly opposite viewpoints on what the unknowing are. To God, unknowing is impossible. It is therefore not a point of view at all, but merely a belief in something that does not exist. It is only this belief that the unknowing have, and by it they are wrong about themselves. They have defined themselves as they were not created. Their creation was not a point of view, but rather a certainty. Uncertainty brought to certainty does not retain any conviction of reality. Our emphasis has been on bringing what is undesirable to the desirable, what you do not want to what you do. You will realize that salvation must come to you this way if you consider what dissociation is. Dissociation is a distorted process of thinking whereby two systems of belief which cannot coexist are both maintained. If they are brought together, their joint acceptance becomes impossible. But if one is kept in darkness from the other, their separation seems to keep them both alive and equal in their reality. Their joining thus becomes the source of fear. For if they meet, acceptance must be withdrawn from one of them. You cannot have them both, for each denies the other. Apart, this fact is lost from sight, for each in a separate place can be endowed with firm belief. Bring them together, and the fact of their complete incompatibility is instantly apparent. One will go because the other is seen in the same place. Light cannot enter darkness when a mind believes in darkness and will not let it go. Truth does not struggle against ignorance, and love does not attack fear. What needs no protection does not defend itself. Defense is of your making. God knows it not. The Holy Spirit uses defenses on behalf of truth only because you made them against it. His perception of them, according to his purpose, merely changes them into a call for what you have attacked with them. Defenses, like everything you made, must be gently turned to your own good, translated by the Holy Spirit from means of self-destruction to means of preservation and release. His task is mighty, but the power of God is with him. Therefore, to him it is so easy that it was accomplished the instant it was given him for you. Do not delay in your return to peace by wondering how he can fulfill what God has given him to do. Leave that to him who knows. You are not asked to do mighty tasks yourself. You are merely asked to do the little he suggests you do, trusting him only to the small extent of believing that, if he asks it, you can do it. You will see how easily all that he asks can be accomplished. The Holy Spirit asks of you but this: bring to him every secret you have locked away from him. Open every door to him and bid him enter the darkness and lighten it away. At your request, he enters gladly. He brings the light to darkness if you make the darkness open to him. But what you hide, he cannot look upon. He sees for you, and unless you look with him, he cannot see. The vision of Christ is not for him alone, but for him with you. Bring, therefore, all your dark and secret thoughts to him, and look upon them with him. He holds the light, and you the darkness. They cannot coexist when both of you together look on them. His judgment must prevail, and he will give it to you as you join your perception to his. Joining with him in seeing is the way in which you learn to share with him the interpretation of perception that leads to knowledge. You cannot see alone. Sharing perception with him, whom God has given you, teaches you how to recognize what you see. It is the recognition that nothing you see means anything alone. Seeing with him will show you that all meaning, including yours, comes not from double vision, but from the gentle fusing of everything into one meaning, one emotion, and one purpose. God has one purpose, which he shares with you. The single vision which the Holy Spirit offers you will bring this oneness to your mind with clarity and brightness so intense you could not wish for all the world not to accept what God would have you have. Behold your will, accepting it as his, with all his love as yours. All honor to you through him, and through him unto God. Section 8, the Holy Meeting Place. In the darkness, you have obscured the glory God gave you, and the power he bestowed upon his guiltless Son. All this lies hidden in every darkened place, shrouded in guilt, and in the dark denial of innocence. Behind the dark doors you have closed lies nothing, because nothing can obscure the gift of God. It is the closing of the doors that interferes with recognition of the power of God that shines in you. Banish not power from your mind, but let all that would hide your glory be brought to the judgment of the Holy Spirit, and there undone. Whom he would save for glory is saved for it. He has promised the Father that through him you would be released from littleness to glory. To what he promised God, he is wholly faithful, for he shares with God the promise that was given him to share with you. And this hymn can also be thought of as the Christ field, as the unity field of consciousness. He shares it still for you. What people sometimes think of the highest self, the most ascended self, that is one. It's not a differentiated, individualized consciousness. It is a self of one self in the field. He shares it still for you. Everything that promises otherwise, great or small, however much or little valued, he will replace with the one promise given unto him to lay upon the altar to your Father and his Son. No altar stands to God without his Son. and nothing brought there that is not equally worthy of both, but will be replaced by gifts wholly acceptable to Father and to Son. Can you offer guilt to God? You cannot then offer it to his Son, for they are not apart, and gifts to one are offered to the other. You know not God because you know not this. Yet you do know God, and also this. All this is safe within you, where the Holy Spirit shines. He shines not in division, but in the meeting place where God, united with his Son, speaks to his Son through him. Communication between what cannot be divided and cannot cease. The holy meeting place of the unseparated Father and his Son lies in the Holy Spirit and in you. All interference in the communication that God himself wills with his Son is quite impossible here. Let's read that again based on some things that we think of in the spiritual community when we work on clearings and energy healings and things that attachments and what we perceive down in lower dimensions. All interference in the communication that God himself wills with his Son is quite impossible. Unbroken and uninterrupted love flows constantly between the Father and the Son, as both would have it be, and so it is. Let your mind wander not through darkened corridors, away from light's center. You and your brother may choose to lead yourselves astray, but you can be brought together only by the guide appointed for you. He will surely lead you to where God and his Son await your recognition. They are joined in giving you the gift of oneness, before which all separation vanishes. Unite with what you are. You cannot join with anything except reality. God's glory and his Son's belong to you in truth. They have no opposite, and nothing else can you bestow upon yourself. There is no substitute for truth, and truth will make this plain to you as you are brought into the place where you must meet with truth. And there you must be led, through gentle understanding which can lead you nowhere else. Where God is, there you are. Such is the truth. Nothing can change the knowledge given you by God into unknowingness. Everything God created knows its creator, for this is how creation is accomplished by the Creator and by his creations. In the holy meeting place are joined the Father and his creations, and the creations of his Son with them together. There is one link that joins them all together, holding them in the oneness out of which creation happens. The link with which the Father joins himself to those he gives the power to create can never be dissolved, can never be dissolved. Heaven itself is union with all creation and with its one Creator, and heaven remains the will of God for you. Lay no gifts other than this upon your altars, for nothing can coexist with it. Here your little offerings are brought together with the gift of God, and only what is worthy of the Father will be accepted by the Son, for whom it is intended. To whom God gives himself, he is given. Your little gifts will vanish on the altar where he has placed his own. There it is. If you want to stay in meditation with this, that could be beneficial. If you want to get a notebook out and just free write what comes to mind. If it might inspire a kind of purge of what you've been really holding on to that you don't want to see in yourself anymore because it's unreal You've been holding on to negative states. You've been holding on to really painful memories, limiting beliefs, everything that we work to clear. Bring it forth in a purge, but remember to be in the stillness, and remember that it is with aligning with your highest beingness, with the eternal field of the One, with the spirit self that knows, that transforms it in your sight by merging your sight with that of spirit, which only sees truth. This is the will for you, because God wills it. God wills you see. God wills you know yourself. God wills you home. And please feel free to share your thoughts, share your impressions in the comments. And thank you for joining me. And thank you to Julie for suggesting that we all meet together and read from the course. So if you guys have other suggestions or requests about things you want to see in videos, let me know. And I hope you guys have a really good evening, day, week, weekend, wherever you are. And I'll see you soon.